Hi everyone, welcome to Meal Prep Mondays. My name is Samantha and today we're going to be making a Tex-Mex salad. I have my sweet potatoes and I have my Roma tomatoes, and I made sure to put a damp cloth under my cutting board so it's not going to be moving around so much like it did in the last video. So I'm ready to go. Like usual, we always wash our vegetables before we go ahead and prepare them, only because if there is any remnants of any dirt or any impurities, we want to make sure that we're washing that off. We don't want a case of food poisoning, so I'm just going to thoroughly wash all of our vegetables, and this is our last one. Alright, so now that everything is clean, of course we're going to turn off our tap and get ready to chop everything up. Now I'm going to keep the sweet potato skin on only because it doesn't bother me. I don't taste anything different. I mean, I season my vegetables, or at least in this case I'm going to season it, so I don't feel any impact from having the skin on, and to be quite honest, it's extra fiber, so I'm not going to say no. Yeah, so we're just going to slice it up and then chop it up in about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch in size. The smaller it is, the faster it cooks, essentially. So because I wanted to make this very quickly and not waste time, we're going to chop it up in quarter bites. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that it's done, we're gonna go ahead and chop up our Roma tomato. These tomatoes are pretty large, to be quite honest. I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes. I typically only eat tomatoes because I feel like it just boosts whatever it is that I put it in, the flavors that are already there, but on its own, it really doesn't do much for me. But in this case, health is wealth, so we're going to go ahead and eat it. The tomato's large enough, so I'm not going to bother to cut the second one. And yeah, I'll just show you what we've done. So we can see here, some of the pieces are 1/4 inch, some of them are 1/2 inch of the sweet potato, and then about 1/2 inch in size for the Roma tomato. So now with our sweet potato, we're going to place that into a baking dish, and we're going to add some oils, some seasonings, and pop it in the oven for a few minutes. My favorite use is the extra virgin olive oil. It is richer in healthy fat content, but also I find it gives my vegetables a nice little slightly earthy taste, rather than your coconut oil or your generic vegetable oil. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that all of the pieces are thoroughly coated so that when we do add our seasonings, it does adhere properly and it doesn't give us any trouble with sticking to the bottom. So I'm gonna add some black, let me make a note here, freshly ground black pepper. I find there is a difference between it already being grounded versus grinding it right then and there. You get more of a kick with a freshly ground one, whereas the other one is just a little bland. But that's not what we're using, so there's no worry there. So now we're going to add our chipotle seasoning, and we're going to mix all of that up with a little bit more salt. Alright, so now that that's all thoroughly incorporated, yeah, just take a look at that. Like, isn't that lovely? Like, every piece has a nice bit of seasoning on it. So that's exactly what I was going for. So we're just going to make sure our oven's at 350 degrees, and we're going to place the sweet potatoes in the oven. We're going to let that cook for maybe about 25 to 30 minutes. we'll take a look periodically to see how it goes. So to my pan on the stove, I've added about 1 tablespoon to 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. We're gonna get ready to prepare our ground turkey. This is a Tex-Mex salad. So instead of beef, we're going to substitute with turkey because it is a leaner meat. We want to make sure that we're operating in a space of intentionality and mindfulness as it relates to self-care in regards to what we put in our body. Not to say that beef is bad or ground chicken is bad, but my choice of meat today is ground turkey. So we're going to go ahead and add it to the pan, and once it's there, we're going to race against time to add our seasonings and incorporate before too much of our meat is cooked or starting to cook. Alright, so now that everything has been added to the pan, we're going to harmonize our meal and add, again, our chipotle seasoning to our meat, in addition to a little bit of salt. Preferably, if you've listened to any of my meal prep videos before, you might have heard that I love heat. And if it's not black pepper, it's Scotch bonnet peppers that I like to put in my meals. But I have 2 little young ones, and I'm trying to encourage them to eat healthy as well, so I have to be very mindful with the amount of heat I put in. And because I already put some black pepper in my sweet potatoes, we're going to try to stay away from that with the turkey. So now it's a race against the heat, or at least in my mind it is. We're incorporating our seasonings throughout the turkey because we want to get an even flavor and an even taste throughout our meal. I'm not one to enjoy bland meals, so it's very important for me to make sure everything is thoroughly incorporated. We've done the best that we can at this point. I'm just going to try to mix it up a little bit more, but I do realize that we need to let it do its thing so that we can properly assess what else we need later on. So I'm just going to cover it up and allow the heat to do its magic. Okay, checking on our sweet potatoes. It looks like it's coming along. Our sweet potatoes have increased in that golden color, but it does look a little hardened still. So we're just gonna give it a good toss because we want to get an even cook throughout every piece. Again, because these are smaller pieces, it is going to take a little less than usual time for a sweet potato to cook, especially seeing how we have 2 sweet potatoes there, but realistically, we're just going to let it do its thing. So now we're going to take a look at our turkey, and this is where I want to add. I did go back to the pan and add more chipotle seasoning. Again, I'm one for the flavors. I'm out here for all the flavors. So I want to make sure that everything is thoroughly seasoned while it's cooking. And yeah, essentially I do that so that I can maximize my experience when I'm eating it. I want to enjoy my meal, much like anyone who wants to eat or has to eat. So this is just what I like to do: increase my flavors and maximize my cooking time. So I'm just gonna mix that up, and I'm gonna break apart any large chunks that I'm noticing. Because we're not cooking meatballs here, we are making just a ground turkey for our Tex-Mex salad. Okay, so I've let that cook for about another 5 to 10 minutes, and as you can see, we still have some fluid at the bottom, but it is coming along. There is a nice little golden color almost throughout, so we're going to let that sit again under the heat and cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. So now that we've done that, it looks like it's done. There's no fluid at the bottom, and I've gotten a nice golden color throughout. I love my meat. Well done. Very well cooked, but not tough. And I didn't achieve that this time, so I'm thankful. So we're just going to scoop everything out, and we're going to put it into our glass bowl so that we can We're going to put it in our glass bowl essentially so that it can cool down quicker because we are putting this on a salad. So I'm just preparing my salad now. My leaves are already washed and dried. Unfortunately, they're not destemmed, so we're just going to place what we're going to be using on the plate and destem them, and I've done that now, so we're ready to go. The only thing now is our sweet potatoes. Let's see how that's coming along. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes now. We can see the sweet potatoes have definitely decreased in size, which tells me that it's cooked almost throughout, and we have a nice little golden color on it, and we don't see any burned pieces, but also at the same time, as I'm moving it around in the baking tray, I can tell that it's very tender, so I'm trying my best not to be aggressive with it, just to unstick any little ones from the bottom and to make sure that everything is kind of spread out so that it can cool down in time for use. Alright, so now we have everything laid out, our ground turkey, tomatoes, spinach, and our sweet potatoes. So I'm going to add some ranch dressing. Yes, ranch dressing. For a Tex-Mex salad, yeah, you should try it. It tastes amazing. I've added some ranch dressing to my spinach leaves, my baby spinach, and I'm going to give that a very rough toss, just so that everything is coated evenly. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to add my ground turkey. You know, the more meat you add, the fuller you're going to be because it takes a little bit longer for the body to digest protein. So I've gone ahead and added the ground turkey. We're going to do that now with the sweet potatoes. And finally, we're going to go ahead and add our Roma tomatoes. Okay, so I have some tortilla chips there, just generic tortilla chips. I've crushed them roughly, and I'm going to add them to my salad, and then I'll give it a nice little rough toss. Okay, so now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead and just admire what we've accomplished here and add some cheddar cheese, some shaved or shredded cheddar cheese with a dollop of some sour cream. And there you have it. There's a Tex-Mex salad. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for joining, and I can't wait to see you again another time. Take care. Bye for now.